All right. Hello, hello. Good morning, good day, whatever time you find this. I'm trying something new. I'm gonna give this a try. And I'm just gonna feel into this and share from my heart and trust the process and trust and know that those who watch this are simply going to be with it in their own way. And yeah, there's something here that I can't see yet. So I'm just trusting this present moment and just allowing it to unfold. Okay, first off, intention. My intention here is to record content from the space of I have been it feels like circling the drain. I shared it with a friend today of the washing machine. I believe one of my skills, gifts, and abilities is to see, perceive, experience, speak to the collective feelings. And if you know anything about me, I'm out to quote unquote demystify reality. I had a very mystical experience, and I'm very much pro the mystic path. And inside of that, grounding into reality is the most important thing to me, as I believe that's how we change the world. That I could spend all the live long day, monk in the mountains, doing all the things, talking in circles about figures of speech in many ways, and in many ways, very real realities. And inside of those conversations in those spaces, I find myself, quote unquote, circling the drain and not making any traction. So my intention is A, to be myself, B, to make a difference, change the world, and gain traction. So, what am I up to? What am I doing here? I'm going to try my best to keep this 10, 15 minutes with the space to go to 30 if need be. And really, part of me wants to do a daily update. I struggle to create anything daily just simply because I'm not a computer and life happens. And when life happens and I don't do it daily, it ends up impacting my brain and my body in a way that creates a barrier to reentry. I struggle with consistency. And one thing I was talking with someone the other day was the distinction between consistency and devotion. And this is something I'm devoted to. How it looks is going to look different every day. It's going to change every single day how I show up. And so I want to allow the space to evolve. So I'm going to do what works for me today, and that may change. And right now, I feel uh, safest, closest, most settled. Right now, I'm just relaxing on my bed. And why I feel that way is when I'm standing, when I'm talking, you can see other videos, there's a different energy. There's like a at you energy is how I experience it. You might experience it differently. There's definitely a power stance or power energetic that I experience. And for these, I want to be different. I really want to lean back. I really want to rest. I really want to relax. And what's fascinating inside of this too, I'm just seeing, is that I have a world online that is very intense. If you see my stories, if you see everything, it's very intense. So much so that back in the day, 2 years ago, it got me in a protection order from people misunderstanding what I was saying. So I am misunderstood left, right, center, all the live long day. And quite honestly, that's part of the reason why I feel so defeated is that I'm mistranslated. And I don't necessarily believe I've taken the time in the space to slow down and be myself. And this is the me that you would see if you hung out with me one on one. I will tell my husband, I'll tell other people who know me or people meet me in person, and it's like Jenna in person is very different than Jenna online. And while I'd love for them to quote unquote be the same, the Jenna online isn't necessarily the Jenna in person because the Jenna online, it's a different ecosystem. It's a different reality. People are expecting a certain thing, not to watch someone chill out and do nothing. Like maybe. I mean, there are niches that make that work. It's just simply the stream of energy, the stream of consciousness, the stream of experience that is going on the internet is what I want to enter it into. And I want to create this as well and really see this as a shift. So, intention number three. Intention number three is grounding the woo and learning my quote unquote spiritual gifts is the word. And why I say quote unquote is A, it gives you a buffer and block for the ego if you're here. The word spiritual, I know for me in my past life and much of what I want to commit to is just like this, like freak out. There's an experience for me that's speaking from my heart. And if that's spiritual, then I guess that's spiritual. I just simply see if I say spiritual, it puts me in a bucket of aliens and puts me in a bucket of channeling my throat, which I've watched for myself, pattern recognizing my own system. I'm autistic, is the throat will often cough when I hit something that is a little bit more resonant in truth. I'm clearing out that space where I'm blocked in many ways. So I like to do that. And I will feel for me in my body. It's a real physical, biological thing. I can feel essentially my heart space or my third eye or my brain will buzz or my kind of crown energy. I will feel movement of energy as the best way I can explain it. And I even struggle with the word energy. My nervous system has these reactions. My stomach will gurgle or my stomach will move like with the what's it called? There's solar plexus and your sacral plexus and then all the nerves that are inside of that and your gut is your second brain and has neurons and I've been studying and digging into this and learning how to love and care my body and learn how to listen to the different little areas of consciousness. My heart speaks, my mind speaks, my gut speaks. Even my feet could speak. Everything could have a voice if I'm tuned in and listening to it. And so I'm wanting so much to give language and context and understanding to the mystical, to the spiritual, to whatever that is. And I'm geeked out on human design as that's much of what I've come from. So if you're in that realm, I'm a 6-2 sacral generator, and that helps me see for myself that I'm on my roof hanging out for those that want to listen. And as I say, I show up for none. And if someone shows up, if that's you, I would love to know because it's been a very, very lonely journey. And to not feel like anyone is out there, even though I know people are, because there's view counts and you can see the people are out there. People don't get into existence. People don't become real until they comment or until they message me and let me know they saw it, they watched it, and then share a piece of them. Because for me, I don't want to be a talking head. I don't want to just talk here and blah, 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 blah. I want to create a relationship. I want to create dynamic. I want to create something that creates something. The other thing is in this world, we can create people because they show their face on the internet onto a pedestal. So there is something that I am asking of you. If you watch this and you engage, I will be asking of you your mind, body, soul, best self, courage, spirit, however you want to see it. Your courageous energy that is bound up inside of you, a space to come out and be free and vulnerable and vulnerability. And to do that both, not that you have to be like me and be a talking head, it's just meet me where I am, as in you meet me where where I am. This pedestalization of people really doesn't work for me. I don't want to become someone that someone looks up to. Yes, I do believe I have wisdom. Yes, I do believe I have so much to share. Yes, I do believe I've walked in this really intimately and have discovered my own things. The thing is, I believe you do too. If anything, if you're following my content and you're into my world and you know anything, there's a good chance you know it better than I do. And the reason why I say that and where that comes from is that I'm out to change the world. And those that are around me, most often, 9 times out of 10, have had really, really, really hard lives. And I'm looking for, quote unquote, the least of these, the last will become first, first will become last. And that's what I see embodied in my life. And so I'm gravitated towards those that have done the work 10, 15, 20 years, who have had these experiences, these traumatic awakenings to the human, to the heart, to the space that drives our humanity, who takes care of ourselves, who this concept to not of the world and in the world and really see for me there's a distinction between the world and the earth and I really see that clearly now. There's a world that got created rooted in fear, trauma, death, all the things you want to say, and there is a world rooted in love, and I see that as the earth. That is the heart. It is this symbiotic relationship dynamic that we're supposed to ecosystem synergy live together. In our current reality, the world we created, powers, principalities, systems, and all the things do not support that. And many of us are in the crux point between the two. So that's what I want to speak to. I want to share my heart. I want to do it publicly and often as I can. And I don't know what's next. I don't know what's of value to you. That's another big challenge for me as I show up and share myself. I don't know what's of value for me if I had it my way. I'd sit on the couch and do my little thing and hang out with my husband and do that. wouldn't be creating a reel or a meme or a TikTok or a Gene Key or anything. I'm doing them because I want to connect with you. And so I don't know how to connect with you and I don't know what works. I'm going to simply show up for 30 minutes and puke my guts out, tap into my heart and do this. What worked for you? What didn't? What should I do more of? I definitely don't want to have the experience, or I desire to shift that. I desire to have this worked. I want more of that compared to this didn't work. Because I typically don't really enjoy those conversations and it doesn't quote unquote go well for you. As are you doing this today? I have a really hard time listening to anyone's feedback if they are not doing it themselves. The language of you should, have you, all of those don't work for me. The I do this and this is what works for me, take it or leave it, typically is what works for me, keeping me in my genius power that's self-discovering this in a really powerful way. So again, I don't know what's next. I'm at 12 minutes and I'll talk round and round and round and filibuster the earth until eternity. And my fourth intention, or if one of the befores and I kind of forgot, was to tap into my heart and speak to the collective space that is here. I do have a desire to close my eyes because at this stage I'm just staring at myself. And I can do that. I can say, Jenna, I'm gonna talk to you. I can do that. Or I'm talking to the camera to this figurative person and I have no clue who you are. And so what typically happens is then I have like certain people's minds or hearts or experiences. Like I can think of this person and this person. I start talking to them. I can do that. And for me, I want to tap into my humanity, my heart, my space. What's here? What am I experiencing? What am I feeling? So that's what I'm planning to do. I know that could be perceived in certain ways, and I just want to close my eyes and, in a sense, pray in my own way. I do struggle with the word prayer. I do struggle with the concept of prayer. I'll open my eyes here, just simply from the space of we use it as a huge manipulation tactic and very disempowered 9 times out of 10. And I was raised in a religious context that doesn't and didn't work for me. And so prayer seems really passive and not hopeful. And so prayer just doesn't connect for me. It doesn't feel true. Where it's like speaking from a heart, I believe that is prayer in a way, and we'll do that today. Okay, so yawn, activating parasympathetic, grounding my energy down, is also distinctly different too, where our brains and bodies and neurochemistry has access to different things based on where our brain state is at. So I want to drop my brain state in, which again, prayer, quote unquote prayer, dropping the nervous system down, relaxing, trusting, creating space, coming home to self, breathing. Actually, just studied Gene Key 38. I think it was in 38. And it was just talking about my eyes again. It was talking about breath. And this was rooted in struggle. And essentially, you can transcend struggle into perseverance, all from breath. Because as you breathe, creates space. It could also have been simplicity. They're starting to blend together. And either way, 38 or 23, breathe, 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 whatever that is. Breathe. That a breath literally gives you what you need, and what's there is talking about essentially wars have been started because people didn't stop to breathe. They just took action. And lives have been lost. So many lives have been lost because we didn't breathe. And I struggle to be told to breathe. I struggle to breathe. It's a whole thing. And this really, as I dug into that, really brought it home for me. If I'm not breathing, I'm not connected to myself and taking actions in alignment with myself. And doesn't mean that that's bad or wrong and that I won't learn from it and gain wisdom. It's just I'd like to stop learning the hard way. That's where I'm at. I can definitely learn the hard way. And yes, you got XP level infinity when you do that. I just don't think we have to. We don't want to. So I'm gonna come back home to myself and say, this is a message from my heart to humanity when I see myself as one and the same, as within, so without. If I were to look at my reality, my microcosm of self, what's there is the As a friend told me today, that it feels like essentially this reset of factory settings, and that it's almost like getting set on low. The experience I had is I do all this work every day to go from low to high, just get knocked back down to low. And so today is this experience of why do I keep trying to stop experiencing low if I'm only going to get this blip of a high just to come down? Why do I even try? I'm also present to someone in my space community whose friend had a daughter who ended her life. And once again, the disempowering space of every day I wake up trying to change the world, and I feel powerless when it comes to doing it. I don't know how to make it happen. I don't know how to make it stop. I don't know how to reach those in the dark. And it's as if the second I rise, I get knocked down and I lose all momentum. I'm seeing a picture of a like snaked dominoes. This is something that I'm really gifted at, is I can like feel and see and think into what my experience is and then instantaneously get a picture. And so that's something that I love to do, and everything for me comes through as pictures in many ways. And so I see this domino thing, and when I say see, it's a perception of sight. I don't actually see it. It's just like I can kind of imagine it. And if I imagine this snake of dominoes, they're black dominoes. I also see some quote unquote boxes where like white dominoes are set up. And it's almost like the white dominoes get hit and then they stop. And for me, that's really cool. I see this is this like black domino space that just like keeps going and going and going. It just keeps falling and falling and falling. And so for me, I do see the middle way in a way. And I can get my perception up and quote unquote be clear and white and however we, see good, that good and evil dichotomy, and be like, we've got it. And then it's like we fall and we get back up and then we fall. And for me, it's this experience of just staying the course and the path. As one domino falls, one domino falls, one domino falls. And as every really day, I really see each domino as a day, each one. It's almost this experience that it's almost like they're turning into these like extremely heavy metal ones where it's like one domino falls on the other and it like takes time before that one falls and hits the other. And that's what currently reality feels like. It's so heavy, and see kind of some medieval uh heavy metal, and just wanting so much to have that. I don't know if it's ivory or whatever, the classic idyllic dominoes that are black and shiny and perfect, and just gives me some like uh is it 70s vibes? I don't know why. Like seeing Happy Days, the show of Happy Days. And just those like slick and smooth and just falling like dominoes. And right now it's disjointed experience, this heavy experience. Like every day is a fall. There's so much pressure and weight, heaviness. And it's almost like each day, as each domino, just like I can feel the weight of all the days. I just so much want to be in this space that just falls with ease. That, as each day rises and the day falls, and just have it be flow and ease. I want that so badly. And I will be real, it's really hard to see both of these dichotomies and both these pictures, and feel like the heavy is there and it feels delusional to keep hoping for the easy path. I do see this barbaric historic path that got us here of death and suffering, and much of the barbaric dichotomies just keeps wanting to go through barbaric realities of jail systems and psych boxes and all of these things that are so barbaric. That's the best we've got. That's what they deserve. That's the whole thing. When in reality, those are the places where society puts people that society has failed. Complete scapegoated system. And so that's what's coming through and where I'm at. I don't know how that serves you or what that does. It's hard to get feedback and it's hard to show up every day. I think that's a heavy weight to show up for myself by myself and just feel like I fall. It's so heavy every day. The weight, the everything is so heavy. Isolation, the loneliness, the disparage divide, the those that are up higher, elevated, or more successful, looking down on my failures. How I'm trapped in this undercurrent of failing, trapped in this undercurrent of those that are failing look at my failing and then say it's not really failing, that whole thing. And I just want to say it's all perception. It's all different levels. Yes, I have a house. I know that today. My needs are met. I've never struggled to that degree in depth. I know that. I don't know how to speak into that. It's simply I'm struggling to show up and speak just simply from what I feel as the egoic attacks of comparison and judgment. And this is how you get better. This is how you fix, and just the constant preaching and teaching of life. No one really experiencing it with me. So that's one reason why I don't like spiritual communities, religious communities at that, as they have the answers. They're gonna tell me as it is, gonna tell me in the comments how I am, what I am, blah 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 blah. What I see and struggle with that is I'd love you to show up as you. I showed up as me. Now I pass the mic, your turn. Show up as you. What's real and true for you? What's alive in you? What did this activate? Because I'm just being me. Whatever comes alive in you, that wasn't me. That was what's inside of you. I actually saw that yesterday. I was laying in bed, just meditating and just tapped into my heart space. I was just like, my mind was just creating all these things. Aaron was laying next to me. My mind just kept creating, creating, creating. I was like, Jenna, you're creating that. You're creating that. You're the one creating that. I don't know how to look out and not say what I see. I don't know how to look out and see a different reality. It's hard to believe. It's hard to hold faith. I mean, I have more proof over the past 2 years than I've ever had before. It's hard to hold the faith. And to be real and frank, as I always like to be, it makes sense why people give up. So those are some of the two worlds I'm in with the heavy weight. I don't know how to keep going. How do you keep going? I don't have much to live for. I already come to peace with dying. I've lost pretty much everything in my life. I try my best on the internet every day. Live in the middle of nowhere, doing my best on the internet. People to judge and see how I should be. And the experience of wanting to find friends, and it's just every day, it's just showing up and let me hit you with a bat. I'm not gonna applaud or praise or say, fuck yes, this is what we see in you. We're not gonna bring to light the goodness. We're just gonna make sure we keep telling you what you can do differently. So I'm pretty weary today. I have my basic needs met with what I've worked really hard to do and I'm abundantly grateful for that today. And I know many, 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 many millions do not. And I want to change that so bad, and I don't know where to start. I don't know where to begin. I don't know how to pretty this up and package this up in a way that's satisfying. And part of me just hates that that I have to be in the world and of the world to wake up and get strong and be strong. Gotta try really hard to be really strong to sustain these conversations of brutality. And that we're just okay harming humans in blissful, ignorant ease at that. It is again those white dominoes that are falling. I know their time is limited and ours is eternal. And I know it's been a barbaric past, been a barbaric reality, and to see and know and to taste and see and know what's possible, the goodness in life, and to see the disparage divide of what is dark, it is hard to keep going. It's hard to feel like love and light wins, especially when love and light makes it all the worse. Okay, I feel complete. I could go in so many different directions. I love you so big. Thank you for being here. This is my heart. If it was of value to you, let me know. We'll see if I keep showing up. And this was day one.